showtime, folks. Enjoy the show.
A dystopian world where there are no women and all living creatures can hear each other's thoughts in a stream of images, words, and sounds called noise. What am I describing?
I don't know. What are you describing?
I'm describing a new film written by, oh my God, Charlie Kaufman, directed by Doug Liman, starring Tom Holland, Daisy Ridley, Mads Mikkelsen, and Damian Bashir.
Wow.
Chaos Walking. Right?
That sounds pretty interesting.
Uh-huh. You're going to see that.
Absolutely.
Other screen is written. There's the novel was written by Patrick Ness, which I'm now going to read because awesome. Written by Charlie Kaufman, Gary Spinelli, and Jamie Linden.
I can imagine a world like that would be chaos, where everyone can hear each other's thoughts. That's just like, I mean, what a bombardment that would be.
Yeah, it's actually a true story of this year.
And I am curious how Daisy Ridley figures into it, if it is a world of
with no women.
No women.
And she's playing a character named Viola, I assume a female character.
I would assume.
Because, she could be playing a dude.
That's true. She could be pulling a Glenn Close from Hook or...
Right. Right.
Yes.
How are you?
Good.
It's a
good morning.
Saturday matinee.
Saturday matinee,
it's
baby.
It's a new thing we're doing. It's a new thing. Do you want to tell people this was your idea? You should have to tell people what it is.
Well, we've been changing the show up a little bit, and so we were like, we're going to miss out on our trailer picks and just our other kind of random conversations. So we figured, we need a platform for that. Hey, I know. How
new
about we
show.
add another show? More recording work for us to do.
Well, this one, though, is unique in that it's only going out to you fine Patreon subscribers, supporters. Correct. Thank you so much for doing that. We appreciate you listening. And it's also going to be likely less, edited.
Yeah, right. Yeah, a little kind of a rough conversation.
It's going to be rough. Yeah. We're gonna record it. If we can do it early Saturday mornings, then dump it out before noon. Like, just get it done.
Get her done.
Get her done onto Patreon. That's our whole idea. And so we'll see. It's an experiment. I feel like it is unsafe to promise that we'll hit every single weekend. I also feel like it's unsafe to promise it'll be just you and me. We're hoping to get the other guys involved as their schedules allow.
Definitely.
Right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And I think it's also safe to say the conversations are going to take many directions. I mean, we have an idea what we're going to focus on, but
no, we don't.
We have a few points,
okay,
but
you're right.
It's likely it's going to shift quite a bit.
Yes. Okay. I think we should probably let's jump into trailer picks, should we?
Let's
get that out of the way.
You've got two, so why don't you start and end?
Just because we haven't had a lot of trailers, I will start with the lovely one. This is the trailer for Loving Vincent, which is a feature film about the life and mysterious death of Vincent van Gogh. And I know really not very much about Vincent van Gogh. I know about I know about the ear thing.
Yep.
But not a whole lot. And obviously I know the Starry Night, some of the famous works, but not a lot. And this film presents to you the story of Van Gogh through the style of his work. The entire thing is a moving oil painting. And it's hard for me even to take a step back and comment on what I saw in the trailer in terms of the narrative, because I was so blown away by the look of it. It is beautiful to my eye. Stars Aidan Turner, Saoirse Ronan, Eleanor Tomlinson, some other folks I haven't heard of. Chris O'Dowd shows up in here.
With a great big bushy beard.
With a great bushy beard. And so it looks like, and Robert Golacic plays Vincent van Gogh himself, and it looks just like a lovely lovely piece of work. He is Gurlachik is a I don't even know where he's from. He's got a very pretty limited filmography. He's got this, and then Prosta Historia o Moderstwie in 2016, and Pjursa Miloš
Maybe
TV
Polish,
series.
huh?
Yeah, he's Polish, and so
Or
he has
Danish,
not been in much.
Dutch.
Yeah, but he plays the title character here. What did you think? I mean, didn't the look of this thing just bowl you over?
Yeah, you don't get much of the story. It's almost like a Citizen Kane-esque sort of take on a bunch of different characters and kind of their thoughts on Vincent van Gogh and everything in just the little bit we see. It's a pretty short trailer, but man, is it just gorgeous to look at. I mean, it's just watching this kind of painted trailer. It's really stunning. And I mean, you're right. I don't know much about Vincent van Gogh either. I saw the Robert Altman film ages ago, Vincent and Theo, which I think was more about him and his brother's relationship. But other than that, I don't remember that film too well. But I find Vincent an interesting character. I certainly love his artwork. And this definitely just the look of this alone really kind of got me wanting to check this one out.
You know what I worry about? What was the film that was it had that weird look. It was all Supercell animated. I think wasn't Keanu Reeves in it? Something.
Well, there was Waking Life.
And
there was the other one, the sci-fi one that I'm going to remember here in a sec. But they were both Richard Linklater films.
Yes, that's right. And so Waking Life. What did you have a memory of your thoughts of that film? Ethan Hawke was who I was thinking of because he's in everything. I should have just dropped his name.
Yeah, and The Scanner Darkly is the other one.
Oh, that's the Keanu Reeves one.
Yeah, I actually enjoy both of those films quite a bit. I think they're really intriguing, and I love the fact that he kind of took that rotoscoping technology and did something really unique with the animation style, especially for Scanner Darkly. It worked really well in context of that sci-fi story. I just really liked the way they did that. Waking Life I thought worked really well because it was really kind of a philosophical conversation sort of film, and he was able to use the animation to his advantage in that. So I think in both contexts he actually chose a really good format for it.
I do too, and yet I remember having the same sort of emotional reaction to the trailer for what I was thinking of was Scanner Darkly, which was, oh my god, I hope this isn't just a bunch of style over substance. Like they spent a lot of time working on the look of the film, and it ends up being lousy. And in this case, I mean, I'm with you. Scanner Darkly, I actually have a really good memory of it. I just feel I just have this impending sense of doom whenever I see largely stylistic trailers like this that don't offer much in the way of substance.
Yeah, it does make you wonder if it is style over substance.
Yeah. All right, what's yours? Oh, should I tell you when it's coming out? Is
tell
that
me
something
when
we do?
I want to know.
That's something I
the
think we
people
do.
want to know, Pete.
The people want to know. It's actually coming pretty quickly. September looks like we've got who needs to have the tabs open, really.
I saw September 22nd.
September 22nd, I think, is the US release, and it's got some film festivals that it's been running throughout the year so far, but the US release starts the rollout Poland, France, UK, Greece, Sweden, and Bulgaria throughout October and December, and no other release dates announced yet.
Well, my trailer is the remake of Death Wish, Pete. Yeah. That's right. Eli Roth has taken it on as his next project, written by Joe Carnahan, also based on the Brian Garfield novel that the original Charles Bronson 1974 film was based on. I enjoyed Charlie Bronson's Death Wish. It's an interesting look at a person kind of taking a dark path after his wife gets killed by some street punks, and then he kind of goes on this vigilante streak and starts killing people that might be doing something bad or thinking about it. It's an interesting movie because he kind of starts going after people who he thinks are bad, And my recollection is that, it's not necessarily waiting till they've done something bad. It's just like, you look like you're in trouble, and taking them down. I think that the Charles Bronson one had an interesting kind of message about the dangers of going down that road. I'm not sure, watching the trailer for the Bruce Willis remake, if it has that in it. I hope it does, because I did enjoy that story, and I think it's an interesting way to look. And I certainly think Bruce Willis is a great sort of character for this sort of film. I hope that it doesn't just turn into, I'm going to kick some ass now sort of movie, which it could turn into. It makes me a little nervous.
Yeah, I'm with you. It feels like, my memory of Death Wish is pretty vague, right? I mean, I remember obviously Hope Lang and Vincent Gardenia, and director Michael Winner and Wendell Mays. We talked a little bit about when we did the show on the Poseidon Adventure, also screenwriter on that film. And I don't have a very high opinion of Death Wish. Like, it's not a movie that I think, oh gosh, that's one I need to keep in the canon. It's great. It just was never great. It seemed like it was kind of a random acts of violence without a lot of heart. And I think largely because Charles Bronson is such a stoic. So when I look at this trailer, I think, well, maybe there's hope, because Bruce Willis has, more in the way of, emotion on screen. I like when he gets scared and, frenetic and crazed. I think he has a better look on screen. Is easier to kind of sense his motivation. And so I'm excited about it, only in the sense that, it's a curiosity, and, but it's another one. I don't know if it needed to be remade. I'm tired of these.
I mean, it would be interesting, to do it like a Charles Bronson revenge series in the like some of his 70s films, because I think there is something interesting about what he and I think often it was with director Michael Winner were doing in the 70s. I just feel like it wasn't just I don't know. I think that you should at least look at Death Wish again, because I feel like there was more to it in a really dark way. It was really kind of like an anti-violence sort of film, is my recollection of it. I may be putting too much to it, but I'm curious what this one is going to take. So I guess we'll wait and see.
What do you? I mean, I look forward to it because I look forward to Joe Carnahan's role in it. I mean, I was a big fan of Smokin' Aces, and so. And other stuff that he's done, and I know you're a big fan of
The Gray.
The Gray. He was a producer on The Gray. I feel like it is. I feel like there's more hope in the contemporary telling. But come on, Vincent D'Onofrio. Right?
Oh, I know. It's got a good cast. Elizabeth Shue as his wife, Dean Norris as the detective.
Yeah.
It has the possibility to be something that works well. So I am very interested. I'll say that. I hope that it goes down the right road. I mean, it's based on the same material, so I hope that Joe kind of pulls that out. He certainly hasn't been one to shy away from complexity in his films. So
it won't be the same without Jeff Goldblum.
That's very true. The lankiest hoodlum there is.
Right.
So this one's going to be opening November 22nd. So what was your last trailer, Pete?
I don't know. It made me mad. It's called Shot 2017. It's probably fine. It seems like the way they're talking about it, it's kind of a sliding doors story, right? 3 lives that are intertwined when a bullet, when a gun goes off in a crowd, a gun that was given to a young man, under the auspices of protecting himself from gang violence. The guy accidentally shoots the gun. It hits another guy. He goes down. It's the story of all the lives that are intertwined when this one accidental firing goes off, and it's the lead character who gets shot is Noah Wyle, and I like Noah Wyle. I miss seeing him on any sort of screen, and so I was excited to see this trailer, and I feel like these kinds of stories, the sliding door stories, are fun. I like watching how, worlds collide. And so I got excited about it. And the whole trailer, I think, does a pretty good job of paying off what I want out of these movies. And then the last scene of Wiley holding the gun up, saying, "Meet the guy who shot me," and I've totally deflated. Like, then it becomes it's. I'm not saying that's not relevant in the film. Maybe it is. They probably find a way to do it, but they absolutely pop the intensity and interest of the trailer by dropping that shot in, because it becomes less of a, look at the tragedy of gun violence, right? Even accidental gun violence, to a revenge story. And I did not like that at all.
Yeah, the first type of story really, Babel handled that. You've got the Brad Pitt and Cate Blanchett characters who are on that bus on a tour, and some random kids shoot at the bus, not knowing anybody, and then she of course gets shot and dies, and it's that whole multiple lives affected by one act sort of thing. And you're right, this had that going for it, and then it turns into something that's like, oh, really? Does it need to go there? And you're right. Also, does the trailer need to go there? Is it kind of giving us too much, or has the story kind of been ruined for us now?
Yeah, in that regard, we just saw. So I don't know. Are you still watching the Justice League trailers as they come out?
I am. I just watched the. I was going to talk about that one too, but meh.
Right, but you have to say, one thing that they have not dropped is Superman. And I think it's pretty safe to say everybody believes Superman's going to be in this movie, but they haven't actually shown him.
I think everybody knows he's going to be in this because the story of his mustache has been in the news so much.
That's right. That's right.
They can't hide that.
Superman's bringing the mustache back. That's right. Anyway, yeah, so I don't know. I was not crazy about this. I was crazy about the trailer, and then I was not crazy about it. Director Jeremy Kagan, behind such films as, The Sting 2 and Journey, the director of Natty, the director of Natty Gann, is that right?
The Journey of Natty Gann. Hey, there you go.
Right?
I haven't thought that movie hasn't popped up in forever.
Yeah.
I don't know if you should brag that he directed The Sting too.
Yeah, I know. It's not a bragging thing. Believe me, you can take it however you want, but I was not intending to brag. So this looks, he's behind a lot of TV, a lot of serial stuff. And then here we go with this. It looks like it's an effort to do something a little bit more intense. We've got a release date sometime this year. Specific dates we don't know yet. But if you're a fan of Noah Wyle, here's a shot. That's all I'm saying. Oh, did you see what I did there?
Hey, there you go. Shot. And if you're looking to get to see Malcolm Jamal Warner back, he's in it too. I just saw.
Yes, I didn't mention anybody else in the cast, but you're right. He would have been high on the list. Xander Berkeley, though.
We like Xander. Yeah.
We do like Xander. So
fantastic.
What you want with your little bragging. So all right, there you go. What else do you want to talk about?
So, what do you think of the Emoji Movie doing so well, Pete? It came in last weekend at number 2 at the box office, and it's it beat out. What were the other movies that had just opened? I think Atomic Blonde really was the big one, and that was one that I made. And Detroit. Those 3 movies were the big ones that opened, and Detroit opened at number 18 at the domestic box office, way down the list. I mean, it had a much more limited release, so I guess that's probably why. Atomic Blonde, though, came in number 4, and Emoji at number 2.
That doesn't surprise me actually at all around the Emoji Movie, because there's an audience for every movie, and this has some big names in it, and it's goofy and funny. And I haven't seen it, but from what I hear about it, of people of a certain age, the smaller people. have a good time at this movie, right?
Well,
and
yeah.
thereby you're essentially doubling the audience because they need somebody else to take them. So
Exactly.
it doesn't surprise me a bit that performed well in its opening weekend. I do not expect to hear the same news when we get the report for this weekend. I bet it's going to fall. What surprises me more than that, though, Andy, and I can't believe you didn't mention it, is that Girls Trip opened at number 3, and that looked like just a ridiculous thing.
Well,
Again, clearly for the same reason, it is clearly not a movie that was made for me.
Well, and no, and it's in its second weekend, so I can't remember what it opened at the
That's true.
previous weekend.
Yeah, it dropped 36% over the first weekend. So
yeah. But I think that it shows that there are movies, there are audiences that are craving certain movies, and I think that kind of female comedy, women had been craving that because we really didn't have much of that this summer, and so so that was that for them. You're right about the Emoji Movie because I mean, Despicable Me, it was over a month before or since that had opened, so it had been a little while. So
yeah.
It all makes sense. And
Well,
Atomic Blonde, it's an R-rated film. It's going to have a much more limited audience, and it's a violent film, so it's kind of appealing really specifically to kind of that John Wick type of audience.
And it's a comic book property, and it's another one.
Is it really?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I've heard such good things about it. It's another one I haven't seen yet. I am behind on a lot, and I'm embarrassed to say I still haven't seen War for the Planet of the Apes. Obviously haven't seen Atomic Blonde. I still haven't seen Dunkirk. So that, in its third week now, I am not contributing to the success of Dunkirk at number one.
Well, it's still holding the number one spot. They're making their way. I wonder how much of that is contributing to the more expensive ticket prices, since there has been such buzz on that about, you've got to see it on the IMAX and the 70 millimeter. And I wonder how much that actually boosts it. Like, I'd be curious about the ticket sales on to see how the ticket sale list matches up. But that's...
What's your opinion? Is it worth the hype?
I haven't seen it.
You haven't seen it yet. Did you tell me that already? That's crazy.
I just did. Yeah, I haven't
You're
seen
behind
it
on that.
I am.
Okay.
I finally just saw War for the Planet of the Apes. So I'm slowly catching up.
I've heard great things about that too.
I enjoyed it not as much as I wanted to. I'm wondering if my expectations were too high.
The highest earning film of I think it was last year, right? Was Beauty and the Beast.
This year.
Or this year, yeah. I just saw that for the first time last night.
It's good.
It's actually good.
My wife said she prefers it over the animated version.
I can see that.
Yeah, there's a lot to it.
There's a lot to it. I think I wanted, and I know the audience is who it is, but I wanted a little bit more photoreal on the Beast. Like, he goes in and out of real solid, fine detail, and I think he could have been more consistent.
I thought they did a pretty good job with him. I'd have to look at it again. I saw it in the theater. I wonder if there's a difference between watching it on the big screen and the small screen. But on the big screen, I was just quite impressed with the work they did with him.
I think they dumbed it down for the small screen. I'm sure that's what it was.
They actually replaced him with the animated one.
Wait till you see Dunkirk on the small screen. All the characters are cartoons.
I'm so tempted to just say, I'll see Dunkirk when I can.
Yeah, right. I'm going to watch it on my iPhone.
Right.
Anything else? Anything else of note on the numbers?
The only other one is is Valerian bombing.
You say that, and I have no. I really have no particular skin in the game. It was overall a meh experience, but I can tell that you're dinging me just until.
No, I'm not. I think just,
you are.
They market it so heavily, and it had been such a huge conversation about how Luc Besson really put all this money together independently and all this stuff to get this movie made. I mean, it cost, from what I see, $177.2 million to get it made. I don't have any marketing figures. But domestically here in the States, it's only made about not even 34 million as of August 3rd, so as of a couple days ago. And internationally, only not even 30 million. So it's only made 63 million back, which is way less than even half of its budget.
Yeah, and that's too bad, because I think if you take that movie and you give it a different, just somebody who's better at dialogue, it is a whole different experience. The story is, and the interpretation of the story through the mouths of the actors is where the thing starts to fall apart. But it is gorgeous, and there's so much on screen that so many talented people have to be enormously proud of. I'm really sad for this movie because it's a huge, audacious, explosion of light and color, and it makes me really sad that more people aren't seeing it as it deserves to be seen, and that they're not doing it because the script is so bad.
Well, and now here's a question. If it was done in French and you were reading it all as subtitles, would it have seemed a little better, the dialogue, or would it still have seemed as bad?
Yes. Yeah, no, I would, yes, I think it is. I think it absolutely would. So great question. I think even fewer people would have seen it.
Well, that's true.
So there's that. But yeah, it's not great, but it's a gorgeous ball of not great.
Yeah.
Do with that what you will.
Well, Luc Besson's good at making those.
So this is what I put the earphones on. Listen to The Godfather, right, and go see this movie, and it'll be great. You'll love it.
Wow, Godfather says.
Just listen to a different movie, any different movie. You know what? Hey, the right below that is Baby Driver, which is by in terms of just straight up profitability is slamming it, and we know Baby Driver is a terrific film. You should actually listen to Baby Driver while you're watching Valerian.
It'd be interesting to play the audio for The Fifth Element.
Well, I don't know. I think
I would still hate it, but
you would still hate it.
I wonder if I could tell if it was even a different movie.
I don't think you could.
Oh, right. So funny. Hey, should we do our list? Are we going to try that?
This is our list of, well, go ahead. What is our list?
We were toying with this idea of tying something into the show that we just did, which was Star Trek: The Motion Picture. In that particular film, there is a character, Ilya, who is taken by V'ger and kind of turned into a vessel for the antagonist. And so we thought it'd be fun to put together, or just maybe we shouldn't do a list at this point until we're a little better at this, but coming up with other good characters who have been turned bad. And we thought it'd be kind of a fun thing to just kind of rattle through real quick.
I got it.
So
I actually feel really good about my three.
You've got a good few. I had to dip into the world of TV for one of them, but
okay. Well, since it was your idea, do you want to start?
So I'll kick it off with Bucky Barnes.
Yeah,
that's
right. That's a good one.
Yeah, from the Captain America Marvel world. Certainly brought a lot of interest to the Ghost Soldier, and I think it's going to be interesting to see how his character continues to evolve. Because in the comics, doesn't he actually become Captain America after Cap retires or something?
Yep. Yeah, and in the Marvel universe, he has he's got a longer contract. He's definitely going to be with us after Cap leaves the show, presumably at the end of Infinity War.
Very interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah.
All right. Who's your first one?
My first pick, Andy, would be the character Syndrome from The Incredibles.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Right?
Yeah, right.
I actually adore that transformation, and I think I love that movie. I hold that movie in great esteem, and I think his he was an innovative. It was an innovative vengeance story, and I really like how it turned out in that movie. I can't wait to see the next one.
I think that's almost like warrants a new, another list, maybe for another week, where it's like bad guys who became bad because of the good guys.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, but it's an interesting one here.
Oh, so my third pick is going to be in the same vein.
Gotcha.
Go ahead. What's your next one?
My next one is dipping into the TV world, but it ties in with Star Trek so nicely. Captain Jean-Luc Picard, when he becomes one of the Borg collective.
Oh yeah,
at the end of season 3 and beginning of season 4.
I'm going to say it because I'm saying it here and not on the main show certainly yet, but the Borg are my favorite Star Trek villain and possibly my favorite space bad guy ever. Did you
see the bit that I guess within the world of Star Trek, I think it was the novels actually, they decided basically that, and I don't know how Star Trek tracks it like Star Wars does, as far as this is the official world, and this is all now, just what do they call it in Star Wars? There's the canon, and then there's the I can't remember what they call
I don't
all
know
the
what
old
it's called.
stuff.
I don't remember.
But I don't know
I
how they do
follow
it in Star Trek. But basically, they said that V'ger is the world of where the Borg came from.
I love that.
I
love
that's
that.
Really interesting.
Oh man.
So there you go.
Somebody's got to connect those. That would be a great story.
Yeah, right?
Ugh. Okay.
I guess there's a book that does. So there you go.
in the along the lines of an inanimate object that becomes, shall I say, animate and turns a otherwise well-intentioned character dark. Are you ready?
I am.
Jack Torrance, The Shining.
Oh.
What do you think? Does that fit?
Talk more about it.
Well, he arguably was a fine guy.
Yeah.
And just trying to get his book done. And he goes to this house. We'll say house is the V'ger for this story. And he becomes, he goes crazy and he's tries to kill his family.
That's pretty good. And I guess, in the book, he tries to go good at the end and blows the place up and everything. But, which I think it works really nicely. So I'd say that's a fantastic pick.
I like it.
Very good. Very good.
All right. What's your last one?
Solid. Gosh, that's a really good one. I'm really impressed. For me, my last one, just to tie into our current series and leading into next week, Chekhov. We've got Chekhov returning as somebody on the USS Reliant who gets taken by Khan and turned to a tool of Khan's for that film for quite a while in one of the most horrifying ways possible, I will say, and something that gave me a fear of earwigs for the longest time.
God, straight out of the Nightmare Factory, terrible.
Oh yeah.
Well, mine and to keep it sci-fi and to cross the streams. My last one, which I think also applies, is the young Anakin Skywalker.
And that's an interesting one because it's not just like a one film thing. That's like a serious 6 film journey.
Right.
I guess 7 film journey that we watch him on now. Yeah.
Right. The arc of the fall of Anakin to Darth Vader, and so I think that one fits. There we go.
It's brilliant.
I don't think we necessarily landed on the sidekicks. I think wasn't that the original intent?
Originally, but I think we ended up with just good characters who turned bad.
Yeah. Well,
excellent.
Good talk. How'd we do? You feel okay?
I feel like it's a good start for the Saturday matinees. I guess we'll let people tell us.
There you go. Thank you, everybody, for listening to this thing, and thank you, triple secret thanks for supporting us on Patreon. We absolutely appreciate your participation, your monetary participation, especially helps us cover the costs of the show and keep doing it. Keep thinking about movies.
Awesome.
That's it. That's the big message. Thanks, Andy.
Thank you, Pete.